Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Mile High Game Guys board gaming podcast. I'm your host Adrian.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And this episode is sponsored by Gray Fox Games.
That might be the first time you've done it without us
Just
reminding
fucking nailed it.
Yeah, us talking about it or mentioning it or
Saying
having
it
to
three times before I hit record.
I mean, he was like dead quiet for like 10 seconds, and it looked like in his eyes like he was repeating something over and over again.
That is not at all what happened.
We had at least 4 more seconds of silence before our usual saying hello that we cut out.
That was
before
switching windows.
I see.
Getting things up and ready to rock and roll.
Just like now.
Correct. So I am still packing and preparing to move.
In 5 days.
Yes.
4 days.
And it just looks like you've just added more stuff to your entire apartment.
Much like packing does.
Yeah.
It just takes all of the things that you had hidden away and just brings it outside of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of the closets are empty. Most of the cabinets are empty. And so the living room looks the same as it always did, just with
more shit in
whole
it.
fuck bunch more of boxes and crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've already dropped off 3 or 4 boxes as donations to like Goodwill.
Junk stuff. Junk boxes.
And we have several more.
There was an episode recently named for the junk boxes of like, when was the last decade you remember seeing this?
Yes.
Huh?
We literally named a whole episode after our conversations
about
of junk.
boxes.
Which I then put at the stinger at the end. So literally they didn't have
No
the
one knows the
context until
conversation.
the end.
Just in case anyone's wondering why the episode is named after that,
Yeah.
just listen after everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
In case everyone doesn't know that we have those at the end of episodes.
Bumpers.
Has anyone ever mentioned them in any sort of feedback or anything?
Not really.
Not really, but I feel like I've heard 1 or 2 things, but
I
nothing.
mean, considering how many times, like the couple times that we've had episodes that ran long, and people are like, I listened to the whole 30 minutes of silence, thinking there was something coming.
Yeah.
No, there isn't.
But that also means that they're in such raps. They want it. So they want those the cut content at the end so bad they're willing to go through 30 minutes of content for it, or 30 minutes of just
increasingly
silence.
just want
To
to
be
put
fair-
30 minutes of silence at the end of every episode.
To be fair, David only had to sit through 15 minutes of silence. Because he listens on 2X.
Fucking 2X bastards. Was a big discussion on the Slack channel today.
Yeah.
It was, what speed do you listen to podcasts?
I do like
at?
the one person said it was like, well, if you do that, you might actually be able to listen to the bloody minute in a minute. And I was like, no, that's like 10 to 15 times.
15 times. Yeah, definitely.
That's not quick enough. I'm pretty sure if you just push them all together, it just become one giant high pitch just of you saying
Or just Nuffle.
Yes.
I hear if you play the bloody minute backwards, you just hear Nuffle.
You heard Nuffle.
Nuffle.
All hail Nuffle. All hail Nuffle. All hail Nuffle.
Anything else exciting you guys want to talk about happening before we move on to what we've actually been playing and talk about board games on this board game
I've
podcast?
been rewatching the Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah. You did 2 and 3 recently, right?
Yes, I did 2 and 3. 2 is a John Woo movie.
Was it John Woo?
Yeah, 100%
Fucking
John.
Okay.
doves.
Doves. I tried to count all the slow motion things, and then I just was like, I can't. I would like to actually watch the movie instead of being like, oh, here's another one. Here's another one.
I'm pretty sure I saw Mission Impossible 2, but I don't think I could tell you a single thing about it.
He
it
does
still
slow
does
motion.
the faces.
He does the it's the one that goes. It does like 5 face swaps. It's
I got nothing.
That's it's the least consequential of all of them.
Okay.
So
I remember the first one.
yeah.
The first one is great.
First one's good.
There's Gum in a fish tank that he runs away from the water,
Which somehow
started the first running away of the Mission Impossible
What I like
movies.
is like he takes the gum, like sort of mushes it in his hand a little bit, gets it a little wet, and like throws it onto and that somehow just makes it completely stick onto there.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that wouldn't actually work like that.
As long as you don't chew it.
Well, I'm saying, but I don't think just putting it together and then throwing it on a thing will make.
Maybe it's meant to be.
Maybe
it's supposed to be
part
there.
of the same chemical reaction that makes the 2 sides explode when they touch, except for the very center where they touch.
Yeah.
Makes it when you touch, they become super sticky.
Some sort of
A few seconds after you throw it, so it doesn't stick to your fingers.
Yeah. Yeah. But 3 is when it starts to turn around. It has what I still feel is the series' best villain, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
That one
That's also the one where he gets blown up like into the side of a car,
Yes.
right? Like the helicopter shoots a missile and
Yes.
tosses him into a car.
Yes, it
and
does.
He shrugs it off.
Yeah.
No internal bleeding whatsoever.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, this
full
is
force into a car.
this is also when he fell like 20 feet onto a glass
Spikes.
ceiling and then was rolling like, and he just walks off internal injuries like it's nothing.
I mean, I can already tell from the trailer from the new one, like he definitely is in a wicked bad bike accident.
Yeah.
And shrugs that one off too.
But
yeah, the trailer for the new
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a car pulls in front of him, he rockets across the
Yeah.
hood.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 is where it starts to
If
turn
George
around.
Clooney can survive it, so can Tom Cruise.
I can't fault that logic.
Yeah.
Somebody watching 4 and 5 later and then be all caught up for Fallout.
Which you're watching on Sunday, right?
Yes.
Right on. Jeff, what about you? Anything exciting?
I watched a bunch of movies. I watched Split because
Oh yeah, you
the-
finally watched Split. Great movie.
I've had it on Blu-ray forever, and I've just never gotten around to just sitting down and watching it. It was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know going into it that it was at all tied into
To spoilers, heavy, hard spoilers for anyone
I
that's
mean, I
not
feel at
seen
this
Split.
point with the new trailer.
Nah, it's
no,
still... Nope.
still,
All right.
yeah,
It's heavily tied into a different M. Night movie.
yes.
Have
Technically,
fun
they
trying
all,
to figure out which one.
yeah. The hook though, or
At the end, the lady comes out of the water and is like, oh my god, the lady was in the water.
but the hook like twist. There's two technically. There was one where like, oh, that's real,
Yeah.
and then there's like, oh, this is connected with that.
Yep.
And you're like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
all right. This came out like almost 2 years ago.
Early
March
last year.
and
Yes.
then it's like January next year for
Mhm.
the Glass movie.
Yeah.
Which, if that doesn't give it away.
yes, I mean, you clearly need to have skipped over this.
Yeah.
But the trailer came out, and that's why I wanted to
Ah.
get to finally watching it.
The trailer looks so good.
Unfortunately, I had it spoiled for me like 2 weeks after it had come out. BFF CJ was just talking about it, and I was like, "You piece of shit," because we had seen that movie together like forever ago.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. So the movie that it has the tie-in to is one of my favorite movies.
okay.
Of M. Night. I love it. And I had no idea that there was the tie-in to Split. And so when that happened at the end of the movie, it was like a jaw on the floor moment for me.
Yes, and it's literally like
That's
the
what
last
most people were, yeah.
the last 10 seconds of the movie, and
Yeah.
no one had any idea, which was awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's funny because there was something I was watching. I watched it again recently. No, Parks and Rec. There's a Parks and Rec episode where Tom Haverford jokes about like, hashtag why no sequel to that movie.
Huh.
And
I mean, a lot of people wanted one, so...
Yeah.
yeah.
Now they got it.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, it was super set up for one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just nothing.
Then he
For a
started.
long
Then
time.
he started making other movies and
Weird shit.
Yeah.
Plants that kill people.
The Village and The Happening and The Lady
Mhm.
in the Water
Maybe-
and Avatar.
Maybe they'll just put all those into this one. They'll all be in the crazy house.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lady in the water. There's going to be some dude that thinks he can bend air.
There's a dude that thinks he can see ghosts.
There's a guy that talks to plants.
Yep.
The connected Shyamalan universe.
Yes, this is the perfect vehicle.
I mean, and it's nice that they can still call it the MCU.
Oh my god.
God damn it. Seen
Right
a
on.
lot of movies, not in theaters, just at home.
Yeah, I watched a lot over the weekend. I didn't play many games, but I played a lot of Netflix, and I finished my second playthrough of Subnautica, and I
Whoa,
Second playthrough?
you've beaten Subnautica?
twice.
Wow, you have played that game a lot.
I have every achievement
Holy
as well.
shit.
I had every achievement after my first playthrough.
Did you use any guides
No.
to get all of the alien bullshit?
Yeah.
Wow. Some of those are like hard to
Oh,
figure
yeah.
out where you're supposed to go.
Oh yeah.
Wow. You
Luckily,
spent
I fucking love exploring. That is one of my favorite exploration games.
how many times you die?
The
How many?
first,
Wait, okay. Better question. How many times do you shit your pants?
the first time, a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Both. A lot of dying and a lot of pants shitting.
Yes.
The second time,
That is a scary, scary game.
the second playthrough. I did hardcore mode where it deletes your save anytime you die, and so my second playthrough, I did not die once beating the game. Like I died a lot of time. Like there were a lot of resets. Some of them were very infuriating.
Saves coming?
No,
you just
like,
started
I played
all the way from the
hardcore
beginning.
mode. Like
Jesus.
Save gone.
So you
restarted on hardcore
every time I died. For my second playthrough, every time I died, I started a brand new game.
Gotcha. But you did that multiple times before you finally made it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All I can say is fuck you.
Dude, it's a good. Subnautica
it's a fantastic
is
game.
Easily one of my favorite video games that I've played in a long time.
It has been one of the best examples of an early access game that actually is really good. Like takes the time and is amazing after it comes out.
Yep. And I'm real excited for the expansion that's coming up.
There's an expansion.
Yes, the Arctic. It's a standalone expansion.
Ah, okay.
And so in that one, you're going to play an explorer who lands willingly on the planet.
Bad idea.
Yeah.
Now there's going to be giant squids instead of giant reaper monsters.
There'll probably still be giant reaper monsters.
That's true, but they'll be squid-like.
Yeah. But super great game. Super love Subnautica. And then I fell down the other time sync video game. And then I started a new campaign of Civilization. So
Of course.
That was me being like, I really should pack and clean while Megan's at work, but it's 8:00 on a Saturday, and I'm definitely not going to do that.
Great.
So, Zach, what have you been playing recently?
Not much. We've been playing more Charterstone. We just finished games 6, 7, and 8, and so we have 4 more to do, which we should finish.
9, 10, 11, and 12.
Yeah, for those who are counting.
Yes. Because it goes to 12.
It does. And we should finish that on Sunday when we have our interview with Jamie. We can be like,
hey,
Charterstone.
Hey, how about that Charterstone?
Yeah.
Mile High Game Guys interview / ruin. Charterstone.
I mean, I'm sure we'll do a ruin later.
Yes, we will definitely do a ruin later. Ruins.
Yes.
But I'm sure we will bring up spoilers in the interview as well.
We should do one, but then we're like, Adrian, can you edit this?
Adrian, can you edit the ruins episode for us, please?
There just won't be a Ruins episode until I fucking get a play.
Well, you better fucking get on it. What are we going to have that in like another 6 months?
Correct.
Yeah. No, not going to work. Get on it.
I mean, you guys could have just waited 2 weeks for me to be finished moving.
That was not going to happen. Well, how am I supposed to go into that interview without having played Charterstone?
Yeah.
I'm just push Gen Con back a couple weeks.
All right, yeah, we should just call him up and be like, excuse me, Indiana.
Yeah, excuse me, Indiana. Can you stop time?
This isn't working with our schedule here.
Yeah.
See, I'm pretty sure you can't, like, you couldn't just go to the city. You have to go over their head to the state.
Yes.
So.
Yep. State of Indiana, please.
Yeah.
But Charterstone has become more interesting. I still love that we play with the Automa. Not everyone is a fan of it as much as I am, but I do enjoy how much they add into the game instead of actual players, which we don't have. The story is definitely building to be less Friendville, like everything is glorious and colorful and wonderful, and it's starting to get a little, this is maybe not as bright and happy as you think it is. I like that.
Yeah.
Still a worker placement game, though.
Yes, it is. But other than Charterstone, we also played Aye Dark Overlord.
Aye Dark Overlord.
Well, sorry, I mean, Jeff and I did.
Yeah.
Adrian got there a little too late, or
just a little too late. But it was easily the loudest, most boisterous game all of game night.
So what happened was originally it was going to be 4 of us playing, and then Jeff walked by right when we were getting ready to play. And I'm like, Jeff, do you want to play?
You were explaining the rules.
And I was like, oh, Jeff, would you like to play? And you're like, yes.
Yes. I like this game.
And then, and I was like, well, I guess I'll be the Overlord. And I'm not that big a fan of being the Overlord. I was explaining to them some of the things that Overlords can do, and I was like, well, if you do, like Bob, if you ever talk about the other Overlord, you'll get a withering look. And then, like, Bob appeared right behind me when I said that. And they're like, Bob. And I was like, Bob, do you want to play? And he's like, is there room? And I'm like, yeah, we can fit one more. And he's like, sure. And I'm like, do you want to be the Overlord? And he's like, sure. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Had he played before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, he's played a lot. And he's definitely one of the better Overlords.
Yes. It's probably why things went so well.
Yeah, because he can remember details well. So
because we had a lot of blaming and around and around and around.
Mm-hmm.
And how many players? We had 5 players and then Bob.
Yes.
So at one point, 4 of the 5 players had 2 withering looks and 1 had 1.
Mm-hmm.
So it was basically unless one person got the withering look, it was game over.
Well, and before that, there were like 3 people that had withering looks, and then, or one person had 1 withering look, 2 had 2 withering looks, and 2 people had no withering looks. I was one of those 2 people.
Yes.
And then I basically said that. I was like, it's great how, because like I said, my character on here is always so stupid, which always...
We sort of built up the story around everyone's characters, which was great.
Yes. And then I sort of commented off to the side of someone. It's like, it's great how no one can blame you things when you're just so stupid that it's their fault, and then quickly the blame landed on me.
On many occasions.
Yeah.
But everyone had their own little stories because they just kept getting the cards that had something to do with
Yep.
whatever that story was. Because Kevin kept getting demonic related things and like sacrifices and a weird amount of demon related cards.
And not just that too, but we kept getting like one card that would have a demon related thing on it, and we'd use it to interrupt Kevin's story and talk about more demon things.
Yes. And Bob would just be like, your demon summoning is clearly not what is going on.
Yeah.
And Bob would come up with the stories, and Kevin had his sword, someone had like sword in their pants.
Yeah.
Was that Kevin?
Kevin had the clever sword that he couldn't keep in his pants.
The clever sword he couldn't keep in his pants, and Bob's like, just try and keep the sword in your pants.
Yeah. And then his demonic leanings ended up losing him the game.
Indeed.
But we all won.
Yes. What was the name of the crazy tall wall?
Unsurmountable wall?
The unsurmountable wall.
Or insurmountable, I think.
Insurmountable wall. And then we had like the flying city that we were always fighting against and trying to defend from. There was air balloons trying to go over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was a good game.
Yeah.
It was a very entertaining game of Aye Dark Overlord.
Yes, it was.
Everyone that was playing was pretty good at keeping on stories and making things entertaining, which is most of that game.
Yeah, and then after
It's really what you want in that game.
after like the beginning 20%, everybody got good at sending it other people and not just the same person over and over again.
Because we kind of did one round of just like, you're always blaming to the right and you don't have to play a card. It's just sort of to get the mechanic down.
And to everybody to get an intro to it, and then they'd start throwing it around. And a little bit, it was like, kept going to Andrew or anything like that, but eventually it started splitting out to everybody.
Yes.
So
it was a good time.
Yes, it was.
What'd you play, Adrian?
I played More Welcome To.
You taught it to 3 new people?
3 more new people.
And
I am teaching that game to fucking everyone.
And it was great because apparently these 3 people all got something wrong when they were learning that.
And it was amazing. And this is how I know I'm not a bad teacher, because they all heard me say what one of the other people got wrong.
Yeah.
Like, it was just all 3 of them spaced out at different points in the teach and missed the one rule that like fucked them over.
So like one of the rules that like Andrew got wrong was that to have little subdivisions fenced off.
All of the
you have to
houses
Was
filled.
it BSS or?
No. The business. No, it wasn't about that. It was
okay.
that he would basically have like a fence and then have like a 10 and then a space and then a 12, and he'd be like, "This was one complete
You have
subdivision."
to,
That's
put
3.
the one in the middle.
Yeah, it has to be filled.
He thought you just had to get the fence divisions made.
Oh, how easy that game would be.
Oh,
Yes.
you want to tell about how easy a game would be? One guy did not realize that you could only do one of those actions a turn.
Yeah.
He was
I'm gonna
using
do all 3.
Yeah, he was like, all right, game's over, I win.
Well, 'cause-
I hit the end condition, and we kind of looked over and we're like, how do you have so many spaces filled?
Well, yeah, because it was I ended up hitting the last me and somebody else.
I think it was him.
Oh no, it was Andrew. But he got the one thing wrong. But I was able to hit all 3 of the goals, and then we ended, and I got like 72, and he was like, I got 79, and I was like, for your first game, you got 79 off of this short of a thing. That's great. And I looked at his map, and there were like maybe 6 spaces left, and I was like,
What?
Something is wrong, because there were like 13 numbers total.
Because we all the rest of us counted how many spaces. We're like,
Yeah.
we've used like 10.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And then it was like, oh, okay, yeah,
Because there's like, 30 plus spaces on the board.
35?
Yeah.
yeah.
And he had all but 3 done.
No, he had a majority of them done.
33.
I thought it was
10, 11, 12.
Oh, I thought it was
33.
10, 12, 13. My bad, for whatever reason. Yeah, 33 sounds right. So then we played again with them getting the correct rules, and everybody did much better.
You've laminated some
Yeah,
Welcome
this is
to
the
boards
first
by
time
now.
Paul brought me the laminated sheets. This is the first time playing on my own laminated copy. I played on a laminated copy all of Origins. But
I remember having putting this back in the box for you.
yeah, you figured it out that a better way to do it, we'll say.
Because the laminated sheets don't fit in the bottom box, but if you put the laminated sheets at the top of the lid, and then you just put that on, then you're good to go.
Gotcha.
Yep. So,
Nice.
but yeah, so I played more Welcome To. Before that, however, the main game I want to talk about, I finally got to play Dokmus. I've been wanting to play Dokmus for a while. I've heard really good things, and
That's Dokmus, Dokmus.
yes, not Dorkmus.
You sure it's not Dorkmus?
I'm sure it's not Dorkmus. But I've wanted to play it for a while, and In fact, I've talked about it enough that Megan just sight unseen picked up a copy the last time we were back in Michigan. So even she had known that it was one I was really interested in. And I finally got a chance to play it, and it's really good. It's a fun little like puzzle game that plays quick and is simple enough to understand. Essentially, there's some action cards that you draft each round, and in addition to giving you ability for that round, they also have the turn order numbers on them. So sometimes you're trying to decide whether you want a higher turn order number or whether you want a certain action. You draft those, and then going around in that turn order, you place 3 of your little like tokens to try and spread across the board. And ultimately what you're trying to do is end up adjacent to, there's a bunch of different like scoring things based on, like if you get adjacent to all of the temples on one tile, you get like 12 points. If you're adjacent to, like every small temple is like 2 points, every large temple's 3 points. And then there's, you know, one of those scoring things that ramps way the hell up, where if you're adjacent to at least, you know, at least one temple on one tile, you get like 1 point. 2 tiles, 3 points. And then if you get on all 8 tiles, it's like 30-some points. It goes bonkers. There's a couple other scoring conditions there, but you play, I think it's just 8 rounds. 8 rounds of placing 3 pieces each and kind of moving the tiles around. Like some of the actions like slide them around on a little grid. Some of them rotate them, things like that. And yeah, overall, I thought Mike did a great job of teaching it to 3 newbies, and it played in like an hour, I want to say, maybe a little longer with the teach. And yeah, it was really good. I won, which was incredibly satisfying. I didn't think I was going to. One of the other guys had done a great job of getting onto all of the tiles, and I thought that was going to fuck me, but I managed to get adjacent to every temple on 2 different tiles, which was a bunch of points. It was really good. I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to playing it some more, especially now that Megan has her own copy. So I got to pick up the expansion. We were playing with the expansion at game night.
It looks a little abstracty, but
It
maybe
does-
that
is an abstract.
Very
yes.
abstract.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is number 46 on the abstract.
Gotcha.
There is really no connection to theme for Dokmus.
I see.
I'm not even sure what the theme actually is.
Honestly, when I first saw it, I was like, are you doing something with like tents and like
Yeah,
campy?
because they're little triangle tokens.
Someone had mentioned Lego as do not step on these piece sort of
Well, 'cause
interaction.
I tweeted a picture of it. I was like, finally I'm getting to play it. And somebody replied to that tweet with like somebody stepping on a Lego
Instant
gif of
death.
like dying.
Immediately.
Don't step on those pieces. Yeah.
Lead your tribe to glory on the island of Dokmus and become legend.
Yep.
There's 5 guardians on the island, and I think that's all of the theme there is.
And there's not even that much. That's more theme than
You're
there.
making sacrifices or something?
Sure.
Yeah, there must be a mechanic that's probably just named that.
I mean,
would
if you
assume.
put a token on a volcano, it dies. But yeah, depending on where you go, you have to like discard one of your pieces, but they go to like the sacrifice area, and whoever has the most there at the end of the game gets some points.
Yes, you're definitely sacrificing tokens to cross waters and enter forests.
Yeah, and if you step on volcanoes.
Yeah, that's yes. That is what
Yes.
is happening.
So,
There's your theme.
hooray.
Hooray. Volcano sacrifices.
Yeah. But those were both a bunch of fun. Those were both
Pretty
Wednesday
short.
game night. Yep.
It says here like 20 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, and I feel like we played it in like an hour, including teach.
Yeah.
It plays real quick.
You think it'd be like a good intro game?
Yeah, it's the worst thing for this one is it's heavily abstracted, which I find abstracts aren't necessarily the best for bringing people into board gaming.
Unless it's Santorini.
Yeah, but Santorini, there is,
But that's
theme
ultra
there.
fast.
And it's ultra fast.
Yeah.
This one, like, there's more theme to Santorini. Like, hey, you're trickster gods trying to do this.
That's true, but abstract doesn't necessarily mean devoid of theme.
Fair enough. In this case, it does.
Yeah.
In this case, yes.
Oh, Zool is number 1 on the abstract right now.
Weird.
Almost like,
Why would that be a thing that happened this week?
I didn't know that people liked that game.
yeah. Sure, we'll come back to that.
I bet we will.
Yeah, Santorini's 4 on that chart, by the way. So
Okay.
yeah, Patchwork and then Yinch, and then a whole bunch of those other.
Get
Yeah.
Other random shit Paul has
Yeah.
on his shelf.
the just make sounds, and it's probably one of the games
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the series.
Have your cat walk across the keyboard, and you're good.
Those are the only like board games I got to play.
Mhm.
On Saturday, I did have the rest of the Mile High Dungeon Delvers, the new D&D podcast.
MHDD.
They came over and we did our second
couldn't
pre-session.
Couldn't put an ampersand in between the two Ds for some acronym?
No.
Oh, that would have been perfect.
Well, so in theory, we're not just a D&D podcast.
Okay.
The first season is a D&D campaign.
But
currently, and this is up until the time we start releasing and officially until the end of the first campaign, I'd say. It's not official, but the plan is that we will alternate who runs campaigns and what whoever's next after Wes. Wes is our DM for the first one, and he's doing a D&D 5th edition homebrew.
Okay.
After that, if Leander wants to take over and switch us to a Star Wars RPG, we might switch.
All right.
So it's more...
And your party members might switch, I would assume, between interest in whatever campaign you're having.
Well, and that's where some of this is up to, but everybody seems down for trying new campaigns, new RPG systems.
Fair enough.
And so ideally we keep the same 6 for all of it, but we'll see.
Yeah.
As long as nobody tries to force me to play like a My Little Pony RPG, then
Wes,
you know what?
Wes,
you know what to do, Wes.
Yeah.
Well, luckily it'll be 6 seasons before it circles back around to Wes.
I don't know. The next fucking time you guys meet up, he's like, you see this small horse in the thing, and it starts talking to you, and you realize that friendship is magic.
Then I feed it to a dragon.
No, it defeats the dragon.
With friendship.
Yeah, exactly.
You're now dead because you came up with that stupid idea. That sounds like DM work to me.
Yeah, and then your ghost has to follow the
oh god.
The pony.
Yes, all right. Yeah. Now we're talking.
Yep.
But yeah.
You inhabit a smaller creature and you become its little sidekick.
Oh god.
You are now the horse's familiar.
Right on. Jeff, no Bloody Minute, no new Blood Bowl news.
I mean, there's new Blood Bowl news.
Because there was championship.
Yes. In the B Bowl, the reason I was watching so many movies this week was because I was assembling all of my Lizardman team. It's a whole pewter team. So, but I also had to cut the slot bases. I came up with a good strategy to do that. It's called Stab It with Your Clippers, so it punches through where the slot goes.
Did it work?
It did.
Then there you go.
Yeah. You just kind of do some like soft cuts on it with an X-Acto knife first. It was mostly
you didn't try jabbing it with the X-Acto knife.
Just stabbed like got most of the Sorai assembled. I was corrected by Ant. The plural.
It's
Saurus.
not Sauruses.
It's not Sauruses. It's Sorai. Got them together. Matching tails and arms is hard on those characters. It's going to be worse on the skinks.
Oh, God.
Because there's a lot of them, and they have a lot of weird tails and shit everywhere. And anyway, the championships happened at Fiction, the third place game and the championship game. In the third place game, it was Ant and Frank. That was Necro on Undead. It was going well for Ant for a little bit in there until it didn't. His mummy did get his 5th skill. He had 2 mummies with 5 skills, and his mummy rolled a plus edge, which he then took because he is not keeping the team after this season. Frank ends up winning with the for the third place slot in the championship, and then it was Skaven on Pro Elves because there's 1,000 elf teams. This is like the basic ass base elf team. And then Phil's 3rd championship appearance in a row. The previous 2 being Bullshit Paul, myself, and Daniel against him in all 3 of these championships. Phil got really lucky to be able to pull this one out because
Phil lucky? What? That
he
doesn't
just
sound...
he has such a run of luck, and everyone agrees that his luck is very high. He gets the right stat ups on the right characters and can just run over other people because of those stat ups. Where Paul goes 2 seasons with with Dark Elves and doesn't get any stat ups. So the game was fairly close to the second half. It ended up being 1-1. Daniel needed a 2+ to pick up the ball to keep the Skaven with move 10 and sprint, which means he can move 10 spaces, and then he can do 3.
Oh, he had sprint too? Oh, God.
So he can do 3 2+ go for it. I don't know if he had sure feet or not at this point, which means he could re-roll one of those 2+.
Oh, fuck that.
Just base. off of his skill. Unfortunately, Daniel failed the 2+ reroll pickup for the ball, so the Skaven had to roll a 2+, 2+, 2+, 2+ to get 2-1 by the half. Unfortunately, with his 1-turn touchdown ability, I believe the game ended 3-2. And in Phil's 3rd straight championship win, it looks like he's not actually going to keep the Skaven for the next round of the next season. He's going to roll something else. He wants to play something fun. He's probably going to play fucking ogres and have plus strength on all of them or something and just run everyone over all over again. But this marks his first place championship in a row. Daniel gets 2nd with his pro elves.
At what point are you guys going to be like, you just can't compete for first anymore?
Well, I mean, it's not like he's using cheat dice. Like both him, they used a dice tower and they used Daniel. Daniel offered like, do you just want to use the same dice? And Phil said yes. And they just used the same dice. He used his own block dice, but the D6s they used were the same the whole match, all off Daniel's. Technically, there is a rule in the game to where you can always use your opponent's dice at any time for any reason, but you can never force anyone to use your dice and not theirs, which is a distinction. But
that would make sense.
I don't think I've heard of a game where anyone has ever forced anyone to use
use these shitty dice.
Yes. Daniel had offered, do you mind using the same dice for the game? And he accepted, which is a reasonable, but no one has ever been worried about Phil cheating. He's just very lucky.
Gotcha.
Yep. So the Lizardmen are on their way. I'll be playing Lizardmen at the tournament at Gencon on Saturday, August, 5th.
So you guys are all playing on Saturday, right?
Yes.
How long is it going to take?
It is going to go. It's going to go from 8 to 5:30.
Okay.
The last game ends at 5:30. Hell or high water.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Because I have a friend that's going to try and visit and be like, "Come on Saturday," because all the people I know are going to be doing other shit.
Correct. 100% correct. Because it's going to be Bullshit Paul, Ant, myself, and David in this Blood Bowl tournament.
Sounds like a lot of bullshit.
Indeed.
So much bullshit.
The first season, I think, starts by the beginning of September, something like that. I think we have August to play our preseason matches, and then season 7 begins.
There you go.
Yes.
Oh, snap. Basically right around the corner.
Right around the corner.
Right on. Well, before we move on to news and Kickstarter, we have one last beer from Andrew. So let's crack that open. This one is Witchmaker, Wytch Maker, Witchmaker Farmhouse Rye IPA from Jester King there in Austin. Unfiltered, unpasteurized, bottle-conditioned ale with a 6.2 ABV, which I think puts it the lowest of the three.
I see a 7.3.
I mean, it probably varies from
batch to batch.
Batch to batch. Well, I trust what's printed on the label.
What year is this from?
This is batch 18 from March 2018.
Okay.
Jester King is an authentic farmhouse brewery located in the beautiful hill country on the outskirts of Austin, Texas. We make farmhouse ales and spontaneously fermented beers tied to a time, place, and people.
I do have to say, their picture of their tap room is pretty
fucking sweet.
It's a pretty good picture.
Yeah.
So here we go. Let's crack this open. All right. So here we go. Rye IPA from Jester King. Smells sour, which from a farmhouse. Oh yeah, definitely some farmhouse there. Spontaneously fermented sour style.
Ugh.
Zach is not a fan.
No.
You poured him way too much.
Yeah, I probably did.
And it's gone.
Nope. See the thing.
Oh god, that's so bad.
Not a favorite style of Zach's.
Well, this is great because this is my favorite of the 3 beers, and I only have to share it with one other person.
Indeed.
So, well done, Andrew.
Indeed. I didn't love the sour from last week. So
I did.
It was good as sour. Like, I mean, it was fucking sour.
I feel there was a mark on each one of these that is like this person's favorite, this person's favorite.
Was your favorite the first one then, Jeff?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
The Scotch ale.
Yeah.
Scotch ale was good, yeah.
Yeah. But all of us
Scotch ale
like
was my
Scotch
least
ale.
favorite.
See? Sour was my least favorite. Now it's middle on this one.
Yeah.
And this is my least favorite. The Scotch was the middle.
So
we all had a...
There you go.
All different.
Yeah.
Almost like Andrew listens and pays attention to our tastes and opinions.
Weird.
Fucking creep.
Who gives a shit about our opinions?
Quit stalking us, Andrew. Jeez.
Clearly, people give a shit about our opinions.
Right? They're held in some kind of esteem.
I'd expect this coffee stout to get rid of the taste in my mouth, but it is not. It's still right on the tongue.
We can go get you some laundry detergent or bleach. Case.
I do have a lot of bleach. We've
right.
bought a lot of cleaning supplies.
Yeah, bleaching my tongue sounds like the only option now.
But thank you, Andrew, for all of the nice beer.
Thank you very much.
I can't wait for Gencon beer trade.
Right?
I'm sure there is one, right?
I mean, I don't know of an official one, but it's not hard to make one of them things happen.
Unfortunately, you aren't going to be able to bring as much beer to Gen Con as you guys normally do.
That's Bob, what extra room you got? Just loose bottles, shoving them in between empty spaces. Bob, let me put all these boxes underneath your legs as you try and drive cross country.
Yeah.
I'm sure nothing bad could come from that.
No.
Indeed.
Can you just hold these 2 bottles in your hand while you're driving?
Yeah,
That's the only place I can go.
Well, just duct tape
to
his
hands.
Well, just duct tape him to his hands.
Sir, are you playing Edward 40 hands
While driving.
Some Kansas cop will have a field day with Bob and his fucking Colorado tags playing Edward 40 hands.
Alrighty then. That means we go on to news.
That we do.
First up in news this week, one of my favorite games that I don't own because Zach does, Stockpile is coming to an app version.
Yes, it is. I'm really looking forward to this. I signed up for the beta as soon as I could.
They actually have a picture of the app out here. It looks like Stockpile. Hopefully, there will be the expert board available.
The expert board, and at the very least, like the dice should just be mandatory, I feel. But
yeah, I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly what all the different. Was there always a -2, a -3, +1, 2, 4, and double dividend?
that was the base game.
Okay.
It was always that.
All right. So that looks like what this will have to start with. Unfortunately, for our love of Stockpile, but
yeah.
it will be beta. We'll see what happens from there. The beta is supposed to start at Gen Con. I am looking forward to it because I like Stockpile.
Yes, definitely be interested in talking to them and be like, well, that's cool about your other stuff, but just do like
Can we
pause everything else and just also get the expansion for this on here immediately.
Just,
Right.
can you
Just
charge
do
me
this
$2 extra
now.
for that, please?
I will stand here and wait while you do it.
I'll wait.
Yeah.
Call up your coding team.
Yes. And just say, Zach wants you to do this.
I got this guy, Zach. He's standing right in front of me right now. He says you need to do this.
It's really awkward, guys. Can you just make this happen? I don't like how he
He's-
keeps staring at me.
He's been waiting for 4 hours.
He hasn't blinked once.
Quite frankly, I don't know how his eyes aren't dry.
He's
as
just
fuck.
streaming tears down his face.
Yeah. No, he's not breathing, but if you try and touch it, he responds, so he's not dead.
He just starts screaming.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre.
Next up in news, Imperial Assault, the app, is getting a new campaign.
Which, if you remember, your guys' biggest complaint with the app.
Hubbaloo.
Yeah.
Hubbaloo? I don't know.
Stick with one, Jeff, and then
I'll just
people.
hubble-
Pick one and go with it.
Yeah, pick with it, and then
Is there two? Because I don't know the one.
well, no,
Well, you've tried like 4 different ways of saying it. Pick one way to say it, commit,
and then don't worry,
and then
our
wait for
listeners
people to tell you how
will
wrong you are.
burn you over a stake if you're wrong. So
Hubbaloo? Hubbaloo?
You're not picking one.
commit.
Hubbaloo.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Is that right?
No, I don't think
know.
so.
Anyways.
I think it's Hubbaloo or
I
something.
think
Yeah.
it's Hubbabaloo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll soon find out. Andrew's long email about why
tell
this
this
word
has,
exists.
tell this how this came about in the Romans or whatever.
But Imperial Assault the app is finally getting a second campaign. This one based off of Jabba's Realm, which has the best mini in all of the big box campaigns, which is the Adrian.
It's the Ranker.
God damn it! God damn it!
Not changing.
Rancor.
Rancor.
Anyways, of course the app will be free updated. You don't have to pay for the additional campaign at all, but you do of course need the physical copy of Jabba's Realm to be able to do the campaign.
Yeah, which from what this press release sounds like is that they took the Jabba's Realm physical campaign, digitized it, and added a little bit of depth.
Fuddled around with it. Yeah. They have also said that they will be adding the story encounters, which are unique, which Ant and I myself enjoyed, where it was the nice little story bits where you just sort of had story and some like skill tests, and you would kind of get a reward at the end of it.
Yes.
Stuff that you didn't need to break out the board, but it was more like RPG like storytelling that was just only in the app, and it's not something that really happens in the actual tabletop version.
Right. Yeah. So the one thing it does say is, like they said, it's Jabba's realm. They say it's a retelling of the physical campaign, but dives deeper into the vile gangster's domain than ever before. So
it seems like it'll be different enough from the actual campaign to be well worth it. I mean, if you already own Jabba's Realm and have played the tabletop version, why not play this one?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like the app now adds it. And if you're somebody who's bought it anticipating getting to play it, well, now you can just do the app version.
Yes. And no Overlord. It's totally co-op.
Yep.
Yeah. Ant and I were just talking about IMperial Assault today.
Yeah, you're supposed to hopefully play tomorrow, yeah? No, Saturday.
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 Yes, Saturday.
Tomorrow was supposed to be Gloomhaven, but
Hopefully.
might not be Gloomhaven.
Yes, he is. The Baptist / barrel season is
Full force.
upon us. So
Upon him specifically.
upon him, it hasn't quite hit everyone else yet, but it will soon.
Once he starts finishing his job, then it'll start to hit you guys's.
But as soon as he
trickle
finishes
down.
his, he has to start up the next round.
Right,
And-
exactly.
And that round changes every 3 to 4 days
Mhm.
for 4 months. Next up on news, Feast for Odin is getting a full-on expansion.
Not just a board.
Not just little extra islands or anything
Not
like
a promo pack.
Not a promo pack. A full-on ass expansion.
Yes.
I almost said explosion.
It's this is going to be the Norwegians is the name of the expansion. It is going to add 4 new island tiles: the Isle of Man, the Isle of Skye, Islay, and the Outer Hebrides. With on the backside of all of those 4 islands, Irish coastal Viking settlements: Waterford, Wexford, Cork, and Limerick. And it adds new puzzle pieces like the horse, which is a 6 victory point piece that takes up 2x5 squares.
That's
so
pretty
it's a big
big.
fucking rectangle. Pigs,
yeah.
things like that. New tools, antlers that are a green, tools that are a blue tile.
It will include another box to hold said pieces.
Yes.
That would be really, really weird if
That would
they're
suck.
just like, just bag these other pieces.
Right. It supposedly expands on the animal strategy, like going full hunting and fishing. For one, it doubles the value of animal hunting for the base spots. So now you get 2 animals instead of 1. And it adds new things like elk hunting.
And it's for the base board itself,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yeah. New mountain strips.
Which
more,
was,
more 2 silver coins, which I didn't feel like there was a huge shortage of those.
Maybe with the expansion, they're like, hey, we need more 2s or
Right.
something like that. And some of the other, like the meat beans, runes, oil. I think those were all the little 2 1x2 pieces.
Yeah.
So maybe they've just added more little pieces.
Yeah, there's a new 5th row to make better actions with your last Viking. There's, a bunch of new little things. And then they also have now random start buildings where everyone gets one of the 6 boards and can build the front or the back with 1 wood and 1 action. So you just spend an action, trash a wood, and then you get to build a building to start the game, which saves you from having to spend a whole action to go to that building spot that can sometimes be contentious.
Yeah. I'd definitely try, or I'd play it again with
Yeah.
this stuff. See if it adds anything.
From this release,
Yeah.
it sounds like they're trying to make it so people will get in each other's way a little more than the 2-player, where it had the other 2 colors out on the board. Is that what it was?
Well, no, that was just solo.
Yeah, it was like
Okay.
solo.
Like solo, I felt was the tightest because you played with 2 colors and you used each color on alternating turns. So like on turn 1, you'd place all the blue pieces. Then in turn 2, you'd place red pieces, but you left all of the blue, so you could not double up actions
Yeah.
in solo. Whereas in a 2 to 3 or 4 player game, like as long as nobody blocks you, you can take the same action fucking over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I haven't played Feast for Odin in so fucking long. I don't think I've played it since we reviewed it.
Yeah.
No, I don't think any of us have.
And so that makes me real hesitant to buy the expansion. Like I'd like to try it, but I don't necessarily want to buy it. And but I feel like if I don't buy it, then no one will. So
I have a nice wooden insert for a Feast for Odin.
But it wouldn't hold the expansion.
I know, but now it doesn't hold the expansion anymore.
Well, I'll tell you what. You buy the expansion, and then
Uh-huh.
you give me the insert.
Oh, that sounds like a great
Oh,
idea.
okay. Oh, I see. Yes. All right. You've totally solved my problem.
But yeah, so keep an eye out for more information about that Feast for Odin expansion.
Might be at Gen Con. We'll see. Next up on news, there's this new board game from Amazon.
Is it when you come over to my house to do a podcast, you yell, Amazon, order cream corn?
No. Alexa.
Yeah.
Alexa, cream corn.
Yes.
We haven't done that in a while because we've been in a different room for a
Yeah.
while.
I think that's honestly the reason why he moved us in here. So he could close the door so Alexa can't fucking hear us.
Yes. We just need to start finding it, plugging it in the podcast room, and yelling at it at random
Yeah.
occasions. But now you can do more than order creamed corn by the ton with Alexa. You can straight up play a board game
Mm-hmm.
with Alexa.
Yes. Which I'd seen an article about this a little while back that was talking about that there are now different games that actually aren't terrible that you play with Alexa assistance.
There's like some Westworld like RPG-esque thing on
Yeah.
there too.
You can play.
It'll also play like 20 questions, like
Well,
all
yeah.
those bullshit regular games.
You can
but-
play Skyrim.
Wait, really?
Yes, that commercial is true. You can actually try that.
Yes.
That commercial's so great.
Yeah.
You know what we're talking about, right?
No, I have no
All right.
fucking
Well,
clue.
we're gonna show you that, and you will laugh out loud.
Yes.
All right.
You might even laugh your ass off too.
Oh.
Yeah.
LMAO.
Hmm.
What about
LYAO.
my fucking ass?
I don't want to. Look. You do whatever you do in your own time, man.
It's up to you.
Yeah. You send me a lot of mixed signals. I feel like I should just divorce myself from the whole situation.
Anyways, you can order an actual board game that comes with a board and pieces, and as long as you have an Alexa-enabled device, you can play this game.
You actually don't even need the Alexa-enabled device. There's an app for your smartphone.
That's true. Yes, you can use your phone as well.
Yeah. I cannot tell, and this is the worst thing about this. I can't tell whether the photo they use is a generic stock photo or whether that's an actual copy of the game being played.
There's an Alexa right next to it. How could it be stock?
I mean, that Alexa could have super been photoshopped in. It looks so awkward.
I mean, you're not wrong.
It looks so awkward. It looks like what you'd find if you Googled risk stock photo or, something like that. I don't. If that's the game, it better be cheap because there's not a lot of components.
Well, the components is on Alexa, man. It's
Just buy one of those.
Yeah.
Those are real cheap.
Yeah, it's about, she'll ask you questions about, because it's basically a map.
Yes.
You put pieces on and she'll fly you around the world and ask questions about it, and you give her answers and then you get points from it. So
Yeah. So
But it
600 questions and 20 plus hours
Yeah.
of interactive dialogue.
and she remembers what she's asked too.
Not creepy at all.
So it's $30.
Might be a hair much.
I mean, would you be able to just,
Clearly, we need to write Amazon and be like, hey, send us a copy of this game so we can review it for our podcast.
I mean, so it's $30. What do you get with that?
Every picture shows the Alexa speaker in there, but that's clearly not going to come with an Alexa for $30.
Uh-huh.
Are you sure?
That would be a
Check
great,
the component list.
then it would be a great deal.
Oh my god. I'd buy 2 copies. I want more Alexas.
I'm okay with that.
There is no list of what actually comes with.
Because if it's just the board and then like the tokens, I feel like you could just get a map.
There's some cards in
Okay.
there.
All right.
But I feel like from the description, like the cards might just be to mark your like score. They
That's-
might be the what do they call them? Souvenirs.
Oh, yeah, and it's just a colored card of some sort.
Yeah, probably related to
the
different regions
continent.
of the board.
Oh, they have cards that are like, to get your flight rerouted to Nairobi, you have to say certain things and stuff like that. But yeah, okay.
But
it seems like you could, assuming that you don't have to put something in to get access to the app.
No, you don't.
Then I
No.
feel like it's something you could easily print and play or something similar to that.
probably.
So, but if it sounds like something you've already got an Alexa, why not get it, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Spend another $30.
Indeed.
You might get a free Alexa. We don't know. It doesn't say it doesn't come with that.
Oh,
Because it
God.
doesn't say anything.
Yep. Oh my god.
Up next in news, Pandemic is having its 10th anniversary with a $100 edition.
Yeah.
That sounds a lot like the Ticket to Ride 10th anniversary that I got.
So if you've been waiting to buy Pandemic, now is the best time.
Buy.
If you ever I don't want to buy Pandemic because it has plastic cubes, I really want the wood ones,
You're in luck.
you're in luck. Just pay almost 3 times as much.
Or if you've ever been like, you know what I really want with my Pandemic is a classy metal first aid kit carrying case. Then, hey, got news for you.
Yeah. I mean, it looks good.
It looks like $100
To be
Anniversary
fair,
edition.
I feel like they did up the quality of the components enough to justify the
Yes.
price
Well,
tag.
all of the characters are now minis,
Mhm.
Yep.
Which, if you pre-order it,
They come painted.
They come painted.
like full on painted.
Yes.
Yep. Full
Okay.
on fucking painted. A lot of the
That's
wood blocks are screen printed. Yeah. They did all new art on all of the cards. It's like a more
The player cards and infection deck cards.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's the vintage aesthetic they're going with. The color palette layout, things like that. Like they're trying to really
They have fingerprints for the
they're full on IDs
Yes.
now instead of just a little player card that includes fingerprints, yes.
Box is nice.
Mhm.
I like the teal.
Like £6 the entire game, which
Yeah.
most of it is probably that metal fucking carrying case.
I mean, it's got a handle. It's got latches.
All the important things.
All the
you would
important
look
things.
For.
I will
they
say
give
this
you
though.
a metal box with no latches and no handle.
I'm disappointed. Like, if they were just like, we're gonna include the first expansion with it, and then that's it, then it'd be like, honestly, if someone hasn't gotten this game and they want it, I would say go with that. Just because I feel like the first expansion, On the Brink, definitely makes it go from like very intro gamer to like gamers can enjoy this. Not to say they can't enjoy the first one, but I feel like after a couple games, you're like, oh, okay, I sort,
Because that has the bioterrorist and stuff.
It adds a
right?
bioterrorist, which take it or leave it on that. But just adding new roles, like it throws in like the quarantine specialist and
which
stuff.
this has.
Oh, it does.
Yeah,
Okay.
it has 7 roles in it.
Oh, maybe it doesn't add that one then, but it adds other ones.
I think it did add
Okay.
those in
Okay.
there, but so it has a little bit of the.
But really, it was the super strain that whatever you put the most out added extra things, and so it interacts
Mhm.
differently.
Yeah,
Which they sort of started doing, like with Iberia and stuff like that. Having this one,
it
having
has special rules.
has
on
special
top
rules.
Of it.
I think that really enhanced the game. So, but quality wise, it looks good.
Yes, very much so. They don't have a lot of examples of a lot of the pieces or the board or anything like that in
Mhm.
this. They just show the minis, the case, and some of the card examples. It'll be at Gen Con,
Yes.
so we can see what that looks like with our own 2 eyes, and it's not coming out to Q4, so there will probably be some more details about it soon.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you can pre-order for full painted minis, which is pretty cool as a pre-order bonus. A special set.
Indeed.
Next up on news, Asmodee has a purchaser for their business that they are selling.
In a shocking twist, Asmodee is not buying, it is selling.
Yes.
Yeah, so Eurazeo, who has owned Asmodee for a long time, had announced recently it was searching for a buyer, and it floated the idea of $1.8 billion. It was announced that
Was that 1.8 billion euros?
I believe euro.
It
or no,
floated,
no. It was 1.4 billion US, or 1.8 billion US is what they thought they were worth.
1.5 billion as the sale process kicked off.
Which might have been 1.8 billion dollars.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
It ultimately settled at about the 1.2 billion, which
Euro.
is 1.4 billion US.
Yes.
And that is with private equity fund Pi Partners, who I've never heard of, but
they're another equity fund, like
that
as
just buys
whoever,
shit.
yeah, whoever, what's their faces that bought Asmodee and
Mhm.
everyone else.
Yeah.
So
Well, that first group, I'm pretty sure they bought it for like 400 million or something like that.
yeah,
And so they've made. I mean, obviously this does. I'm guessing part of the reason for the bigger amount is because Asmodee started buying people like crazy, so that it increased the amount of their portfolio. But it still
Yes.
seems like they made a little bit of money from that.
Probably they made money. Yes.
and now this company is going to buy them and hopefully do the same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just hope that they're buying them just to be like, We want to make money from you. That's all.
And not just,
yeah.
let's suck you dry.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Imagine if, like, the leader of that guy is, like, that alpha gamer that wants to change it. And he's just like, I want to change that one game there, and I want to change this one here. Just, like, gets super involved in everything.
Oh, God.
That would be really annoying.
So
I want to turn everything into Euro games. Oh, God.
So in here it mentions that they will likely be using a fair amount of debt to finance the acquisition.
Shocker.
Pi currently only has 12.3 billion in assets. Only 12.3 billion in assets.
Oh, wow.
So this represents almost a 10%
increase in their
in their assets. And apparently they prefer medium to large European companies who are leading brands in their market. And their website mentions they are particularly focused on transactions in excess of 300 million with investments of between 100 million and 400 million euro.
But I mean, debt with companies is not like debt with people. It's
vastly different.
Yeah.
In their statement, Pi said that they intend to support the current management team in the plans to grow the business further through international expansion, both organically and by acquisition. So Asmodee might still just buy fucking all the board games.
Fair enough.
We will see.
Indeed.
Next up on news, all the SPiel DR have been announced and awarded.
Indeed. So the Kennerspiel had been announced last month and went to Dragon's Breath.
Yes.
The Kennerspiel has gone, which is the enthusiast game of the year.
Yes.
That has gone to the Quakers of Quedlinburg.
Quackers?
I think it's Quackers. Quakers is without a C.
Quackers?
Quakers does not have that C.
And is also this is set in Germany and probably does not involve Quakers.
Oh, I didn't know where Quakers originated.
They
came from
are you sure that this has nothing to do with oatmeal?
I think so. I think so.
But or in German, Die Quacksilber von Quedlinburg.
It's a competition between peddlers of quack medicines.
Oh, okay.
So the Quackers.
Yeah, Quackers. So yeah,
sure.
Your snake oils and whatnot.
Indeed.
Before the 1800s.
Yes.
Yeah. So that won the Kennerspiel, and the winner of the illustrious Spiel des Jahres game of the year is Azul from Plan B Games. So they're just gonna sell like an extra 20,000 copies. At least, probably.
Do they have enough of those to actually sell?
They are currently out of stock on their website.
Yeah.
So.
And I have no doubt that as soon as they were announced as one of the finalists, they probably put in massive fucking orders.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because that's going to be increased to your to the amount people buy, even if you don't win.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they probably put in like, we're gonna order this many more, and then be on standby so that if we win, we're gonna order this many more. And by the way, start working out a way to throw that fucking Spiel des Jahres sticker right on the box. But yeah, I saw somebody on Twitter was talking a little bit about how Azul's a good game, and like, yeah, they can understand why it won, but they were like,
the mind's special.
The mind is special, like, which I don't know about that. Like, the mind is really good. I like the mind a lot, and I think it manages to do a whole lot with so little is impressive, especially considering that, like, how did nobody think of that game?
Well, I think that's because
before?
On its face, it sounds like a horrible game. The fact that it sounds like a garbage game and it actually works I think is what makes it special. Is that it somehow exists,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, Azul was one of my early picks. Like, when I saw that it was one of the finalists, like, I've played Azul a bunch. Azul is 100% the kind of game that wins Spiel des Jahres.
Yeah. Like I said, I figured that it would win. I was hoping that the mind would, but I figured that it would.
Yeah.
The world would be burning right now if the mind won. I bet they wish they were still doing giant size Azul pre-orders right now. Fortunately, those ended on June 22nd.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's it for news.
Indeed.
Which brings us to Kickstarters. First up on Kickstarters is Gloomhaven official player mats. Because they've not actually done another Kickstarter reprint. He just reprints that shit. And it sells.
Yeah.
Gloomhaven Player Mats is very well funded. $66,000 of its $38,000 goal. Over 1,100 backers. Still 3 weeks left to go. You can back this one for 2 of them for $28 or 4 of them for $54.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so
that's basically the opinion on this Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So this is officially licensed by Subnautica.
Yep, and it's got all the art of everything on the player mat straight from the game.
Yep, and it's being done from Quiver, who makes their like card cases. People go nuts over.
The big giant one
the big
for cards.
long card
Yeah.
thing, and people talk about how they hold so many different simple card games in their Quiver, and they're easy to transport. And
Yes, I remember this.
yes, Quiver are very popular in that.
I think we've
regard.
talked about them before.
Probably. They're also based out of Lafayette, Indiana, which is bonkers to me because that's where I went to college. And I didn't know about any of this stuff when I was in college. My college experience would have been way different if I'd known about board games, I'm sure.
Mine was about the same.
Probably less alcohol, possibly.
Less alcohol, more board games. That's really where we traded off.
The amount of money I spent would have not changed. But so they are super fancy, which probably explains part of the price.
Yes.
A nice mouse pad-ish.
Uses the art of Gloomhaven.
Indeed.
Yep. They had a diagram somewhere that I was looking for that like it's like tri-material. Like there's like there it is right there.
A gaming suede, a high-density foam, and a rubber backing.
Yeah. So standard mouse pad.
A high-quality mouse pad.
A high-quality suede mouse pad.
Sure. The thing that kind of kills this one for me, well, aside from the fact that I don't play Gloomhaven anywhere near enough to invest this kind of money. So yeah, they're quality mats, it sounds like, from a materials perspective, but they've got some zoomed in pictures and they don't seem that great of resolution on the mats. Like they get a little fuzzy up close.
The fonts and stuff.
And I can tell it's not like just that the picture's fuzzy because the components they have on the mat look great. Like they look fantastic. It's the mat that is definitely fuzzy and not the highest resolution. And I don't know if that's just something with the way the printing is or what, but it turns me off of that a little bit.
I know for me, and I'm pretty sure for Jeff too, I just feel like this isn't needed.
This is definitely accoutrement to your Gloomhaven experience.
It comes with player boards like this. They're just not fancy.
No, you literally put the player board, your character board, in the middle of this player mat. That's the little envelope.
Yeah.
You put your board that has the like long rests in character and your health tracker and stuff like that right in the middle. Anyways,
I thought there was more of a player board.
No. It's basically what the mat shows, just minus the mat. Like you put the stuff there, but that's a big mat that I feel like that would
it's not going to fit all table sizes.
It would not fit all table sizes, and without the mat, you can be like, oh, I'm going to put these things here off to the side so we can fit our confined space.
Yeah.
Now this is like.
And I love how one of their main things is it creates a well-organized player without adding to the footprint of the game. Like,
it's confining the it's structuring the footprint in a way that
structure.
Yeah. It's a lot more fluid when you don't have that.
Yeah.
Basically the only things you literally have to put are the player board and then the cards to the left of it and then the other cards to the right of it.
Action cards.
Everything else can be sort of just around in different spots.
Yeah.
So it looks cool. And if you got the money and the space for it.
If you're a Gloomhaven fanatic, go for it. You've already spent a lot of money on this. Spend a little more. Next up in Kickstarters is Unfair Expansion. Very well funded. $72,000 of its $44,000 goal. Over 1,800 backers. About 2 weeks left to go. And you can pledge this one for $35?
$35.
$35.
That was a hesitant... This is $35?
I mean, well, so that was the big debate on Slack today, amongst other random debates on Slack every day.
As is tradition.
One of the debates on Slack today was the price of this.
Mm-hmm.
And
so let's go over what it is. It's 4 new themes.
4 new themes. And those are the alien theme, B-movie, dinosaur, and Western are the 4 themes that it's adding. It includes free shipping to the US, Canada, UK, Australia, and New Zealand. And the component list for this is down here, hidden randomly at the bottom. Scrolling. What's in the box? All right. And it includes 262 cards in total, featuring 111 new illustrations, That breaks down into 4 new theme packs of 57 cards, 4 new Game Changer cards, 30 base game update and errata cards, 30 alien influence tokens, 8 insurance excess tokens, 1 dinosaur rampage reminder, 1 alien abduction reminder, and a 32-page rulebook. So not a ballistic shit ton of stuff.
No.
But a good amount of things.
Yeah, a decent amount, yeah.
And so here's how I looked at this, and I didn't break this down on the Slack because I was trying to do some work today. Essentially, a 52-card deck of bicycle cards runs you about $5 MSRP. You can get them for cheaper, especially if you buy them in bulk. You can get them down to like $2.50. But about $5. So that'd be $25 to buy that quantity of bicycle playing cards. Bicycle undoubtedly benefits from economics of scale in that they just order ballistic shit tons of those cards. There's no fancy art, nothing like that. These have fancier art, including 111 unique new art styles.
New illustrations.
Not necessarily art style. But
I would say
111
art styles. Okay, then yeah. Then,
yeah, all right.
111 new illustrations, as well as all of the developing and balancing and play testing and everything that goes into actually making a game. Whereas Bicycle's just like, here's a standard deck of cards that you do all the rest of that shit with. You find the rules for your own game to play with these. And a bigger box and free shipping. I think all of that boils down to
a bigger box.
Huh?
The A box.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what you meant by bigger box.
A bigger box than a playing card box.
That is okay.
Like a box, period.
I was like, doesn't come with a bigger box to hold all the components.
No.
Well, that's the nice part about the Unfair.
Exactly. It already was already built in. Yeah.
It just took forever to get here. Finally.
So, and then one of the things that you guys had brought up that I do think is a valid point is compared to the original cost of the game, this does seem pretty high up there. But I feel like that points out more that the original game was
cheap, because right now, obviously, this isn't MSRP, but when we paid for it, we got it for $47. And right now you can get it on Amazon for like $42.
Yeah.
So basically from Amazon prices, you're paying $7 less to get this, which has 2 less decks of cards in it.
Yes. Which I think highlights more that Unfair itself is actually a better deal than we had realized.
Yep. Which unfortunately is one of those things that once you offer somebody something is a great deal,
it sets the price.
It sets the price. That's the baseline, and you're like, I'm not that much less for what seems to be like a decent amount less.
Well, this is the first
Adrian
time
and I had come out to basically you're paying $10 for a game.
Yeah.
Than just the cards.
Because all the rest of it is the cost of the cards.
Yeah.
Which is one of those things I've never really thought of that in terms of games before, but that actually makes a lot of games seem a lot more reasonably priced.
And they're probably
especially card games.
They're probably wrapping the shipping price into this as well.
Oh yeah, certainly.
Because it's, I don't know if you said this yet, it's free shipping to the U.S.
Yeah, right at the start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even fucking Australia, like that's
U.S., Canada, UK, Australia, and New Zealand all get free shipping. That's fucking bonkers.
Yes.
And $3 to $9 for most other countries.
Yeah.
Now I will say, even though we were complaining about how it seemed high, I did say it doesn't seem too high because Paul and I immediately the two people instantly backed, even though we were both people who were like, all right, we're gonna back. This seems high though.
And I am
and they do
almost certainly backing this as well.
They do explain that it's about $12 of shipping, which is included in the pledge.
Yeah.
So take about $12 off of that.
So and that's also the thing is that if it said $25 with $10 shipping, how differently would people feel like?
They'd feel way different.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that is, I think, why a lot of games have shifted now to not including shipping and just throwing a lower price out there and then throwing, you got to pay shipping.
Oh, and then when you do the pledge manager, sorry, you need $20 of shipping for the United States.
Once you're committed and we already have your
it's like, sorry, your $90 game needs another $20.
Yeah.
Also, you can't cancel without getting major penalties to the amount of money you're going to be getting back.
Or it's just really annoying.
It's like you're probably going to get $20 less than what you'd be getting back anyways.
And then it also, like you're saying, it contains 30 errata cards too from the base game.
Yes.
Which I'm curious. I wonder because I know there are plenty of cards that we were just like, man, this seems super fucked up. I wonder how many of those are ones they're like, we're changing it slightly.
Are they going to change the Gencon promo?
Oh, right. Or are they going to change regular cards to be even more fucked up?
It's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
It's unfair.
Will they miscut all of the cards again? I don't think we've actually talked about any of the actual content.
So some of the what are the themes?
We've talked with
Well, I
Alien.
mentioned all of
Yes,
the themes.
okay.
There will be like alien invasion tokens,
Which, to be fair, not xenomorph alien, like
No.
just generic.
UFO,
Mars attack style looking ones, but not in
Yeah.
the murder humans variety.
B movie, which seems the least defined
It's
when
just-
you think about it.
But it also sort of activates the panoramas because all the cards of the different themes have a panorama built into them.
yes.
But it didn't matter in the game whether you put them next to each other. With the B movie, it does. So if you build a nice panorama, you'll get extra points
Okay.
and stuff like that.
20 points for a 3-card, 40 for a 4-card,
Mhm.
60 for a 5-card panorama.
Yeah.
Okay. The dinosaurs, it's just fucking Jurassic Park. That's
Jurassic
full
Park's-
on Jurassic Park.
You use the dice in this one, and like you do in the gambling one, the gangster, I guess. And there are chances of your dinosaurs to go run around and cause fucking shit up, like fuck shit up.
Yes, there is.
It'll be like roll a die on this one, like in the Velociraptor, and if you fail the roll, it moves to your food, and then it closes your current attraction,
Yes.
and then it gets attached to any food fucking things you have. I like the theming of that.
Yes.
And you can put like electric fences to stop those guys,
Mhm.
or have things to help mitigate the rolls, obviously.
They're going to come out with a lot more park entrances,
Mhm.
which I don't think there was any replacements
There
in the
were
base
none.
game. There are going to be new park entrances in this one, which change your guest capacity and your how many super attractions you can get, how
So
many
you can have-
attractions
yeah.
you can get.
So you can have 2 super attractions, which is pretty
Pretty
good.
for the Western
Mhm.
theme. The Western theme seems to be heavily Westworld
Yeah.
as its theme. It's not just like, hey, we're on the Old West. It's like, yeah, this is definitely very a Westworld. Like, we're experiencing a world of where everyone is, I don't know, when you went to a Renaissance festival of the Western.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that exists, but there's a lot of quotes that I think come out of Westworld and
Mhm.
also Firefly.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And then some of the agenda cards, or whatever they were called, or like a new sheriff comes out and nobody can play the bottom half of event cards.
Yeah.
Which is always the top half's like, this benefits you, and the bottom half is like, this hurts everyone.
Yeah. Or this one particular person. And the other one is a band of outlaws, and so it costs you extra to use the top part of a card.
Yeah.
So
And I like that the flavor text on that one is the "we aim to misbehave."
Firefly.
Yes. Correct.
So that's unfair. It's a great game.
Indeed.
Get
Unfair expansion.
it. Unfair expansion.
Although you can get the original Unfair
Yes.
with the expansion for $75 total.
79
$79,
$79.
which means that the base game, you add an additional $44 and you get the base game.
Correct.
Uh-huh.
Correct.
But obviously, this is a game that's it's not for everybody.
No. Super take that. Super fuck you.
Yeah. It's what I was saying on the Slack. It literally it has its intentions on its fucking box. And the name of the game is Unfair. Don't be like, man, this game's all messed up. I didn't get treated fairly. Well, no shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what we're playing?
Yeah. They did add some game changer cards that help a little bit, but
Indeed.
Next up on Kickstarter is Trogdor, the board game.
Trogdor!
Extremely well funded, 721,000.
I hadn't looked at that yet.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
it has made a bit of money. 721,000 of its $75,000 goal. 11,800 plus backers. Still 3 weeks left to pledge this one, which you can for $40 for the base game with screen printed meeples, or $60 with the same and miniatures.
Plastic minis, yeah.
Yes.
the Trogdor mini looks hilarious.
Yo, absolutely. This game would already be a really good deal with just the $40 for the screen printed meeples.
Yeah.
Minis for an extra $20. I also highly recommend everyone go and watch the Kickstarter video for this one. It is basically the newest thing you've seen from Homestar Runner in a decade, because I don't
Yes.
think they've done much for a very long time. And this is very Homestar Runner, which I was always a longtime fan of.
Yes. So, just right out the gate, the one thing I want to point out is like some of the wooden components I think are objectively better than the plastic components.
Oh, for sure. I love the screen printed.
Like, I think the Trogdor is better. I honestly like the villagers with the fire hat better.
That's because Trogdor, he looks like his one arm looks fine when it's like 2D, because you're like, yeah, he has his arms in the back. But when it's a mini and it's 3-dimensional, you're like, he just has one arm that's just sort of flexing in the back.
In the back.
Yeah.
Like, it makes it, like, in the 2D screen print, it's like, oh, it's just a perspective issue. In the other 3D, it's like, no, it's just an arm in his back.
Yeah.
However, the one nice thing for the plastic ones, the thatched village things
Thatched roof cottages?
Thatched roof cottages.
Jesus.
Are so much better. And the way they flip, like, you flip the fire down, it sits inside when they're not burninated. And then when you burninate them, you flip it over and there's fire.
Yeah, and the screen printed ones, it's just sort of, there's a fire side and a non-fire side.
Yeah, which is not nearly as cool.
The night meeples are fine between the 3D and the non-3D.
Yeah. The only thing I really feel like is super worth the upgrade is the
thatched roof
cottages.
And I think the peasants too, just because you get to put a fire token on them.
You have a fire token on the meeples.
Oh, do you?
On the wooden meeples, yeah.
It's a little fire hat.
Right up there at the very top picture, you can see.
Are you sure?
It.
Yeah.
That looks like he's going Super Saiyan.
I mean, it does. Correct. Not wrong.
While researching this Kickstarter, I ended up playing the Trogdor Flash game over on Homestar Runner for a little while, and I watched the original Trogdor YouTube video, which I don't think was originally on YouTube because it predates fucking YouTube.
Yes, very much so.
Oh, yeah.
So the game in general is just kind of like a tile flipping game.
Yeah, it's cooperative. You're all working together to help Trogdor burninate the land.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to burn the thatched roof cottages by surrounding them in burn tiles and then moving on to them, which flips them. Meanwhile, the villagers can repair tiles.
Unburninate stuff.
Yeah. But if you burninate a villager, then they can go burninate a stretch of things.
Yeah.
It seems about as ridiculous as you would expect from a Trogdor game.
Yes.
And good God, I want it so fucking bad. This is pure 100% nostalgia for me that I want this game. But I feel like Trogdor was a formative part of my high school years.
Indeed. Yeah. Mine as well.
Did you guys talk about the excess of the higher value tiers yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
You've been here.
I was going to mention that they have a 6-sadded die, which is strong sad. And then they're going to have some screen printed meeple add-ons of the whole cast of Homestar Runner, and then some t-shirts and stuff like that you can get as well. But then on to the other pledge tiers, which are utterly ridiculous.
It also includes an unofficial game where you make a ball of the rules called Stack 'em to the Heavens, that I believe is just stacking the pieces.
Fair enough. Like you do with meeples.
Yep. Yes.
No, but it does also have two ridiculous pledge levels. $200 or no, three ridiculous ones. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
200, 500, and 1800. Essentially, they partnered with Wormwood,
who makes beautiful looking wooden game components.
Yes. So the $200 one just has it's the beefy tier, and it is a board that holds your tiles and makes it easier to like push on one side and it flips it up so you can flip them from burninated to unburninated.
A custom wood board.
Yeah.
The design allows the tiles to be reversed easily upon burnination.
Yes. The $500 one is
a box as well.
A ridiculous box that holds everything. And they are very, very adamant throughout it that all art assets are not final. It becomes kind of a running joke as the campaign goes on.
And for the $500 one and above, they're going to have an etched Trogdor on the back of it.
Yes. And they're like stained and beautiful and just ridiculous at the $1,800 level.
The $1,800 one, or I'm sorry, the $1,800 consummate tier. Consummate will have just a ridiculous amount of crazy box. I like $1,800 for a Trogdor game. How many people have already paid $1,800 or wanting to pay $1,800? Is it 16 people already?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's going to. It also comes with a Lazy Susan.
It's a built-in Lazy Susan, so it's part of the box itself.
I see.
I like the first line of that thing, like right above that list. The Wormwood consummate level is where the artisans (parentheses woodworking nerds) at Wormwood really get to show off their skills of an artist.
Quote end quote.
When they actually, because they have actual gifs of them doing everything on here,
Flipping the tiles.
Yeah, flipping the tiles, because they call it tilt-a-tile technology.
Uh-huh.
But it says here, it's a built-in Lazy Susan, lets you turninate the countryside, makes the game fun for your friends who can't read upside down.
They're going to ruin all of their stretch goals easily.
And they've already crushed most all of them.
I don't know. This is the first content from Homestar that I've seen in a very long time. It is doing very well. It looks like a simple, fun, little
Silly game, yeah.
silly game.
Yep.
For a decent price. $40 for probably the best, with various opinions, the best version that you could get anyways.
Right.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Trogdor, Trogdor, the board game.
Next up on Kickstarters is Mapmaker, the gerrymandering game. Very well funded, $51,000 of its $15,000 goal, over 1,000 backers, but a little bit less than 2 weeks left to go, which you can pledge this one for $38.
So this is a game about gerrymandering.
Yes.
That says over and over throughout the entire thing, gerrymandering is not a game, except for when it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a game for 2 to 4 players. 1 to 4.
1 to 4 players. And I want to say this game has already taught at least one of us something, because Adrian learned that the animal of the Libertarian Party was the porcupine, right?
Yes, a yellow porcupine is actually... It says like, all right, well,
the elephant,
okay, the red
the
is
donkey.
the elephants, okay, blue is donkeys, okay. Traditional color animal for Republicans and Democrats. The Green Party,
Green
typically
leaf.
a green leaf,
Yep.
they're environmentalists.
And then they just made another one.
And I was like, where the fuck did the yellow and the porcupine... And then I scrolled through and it's like, fun fact, the yellow porcupine is the symbol of the Libertarian Party. So,
I also did not know that.
yeah. So this game's already being educational.
Yep.
Essentially, the way the game plays is you've got a player board where everybody has an equal number of votes that are randomly spread out across the board, and then you take turns gerrymandering the shit out of it to try and win votes.
Well, and that's because
win elections.
Each of your different votes is like each of your circles, your tiles, has a different number of them. It could go anywhere from 2 all the way up to like 11.
Yes.
So using that to gerrymander to get the most districts awarded is pretty good.
And all you need is to have the most.
Yep.
So if you could make one where you have 10 red, if you're playing, the yellow Libertarian porcupines, because why the fuck not? If you get 11 in an area and you give the red Republicans 10 and the blue Democrats 9 and the Green Party 2, you won by 1 vote, but you win that entire big district at the end. So, yeah. Now, what I can't tell is it says, like, you take turns placing 4 district borders. I think each little token is a border,
Each
so
fence,
it's a slower process.
Mm-hmm.
It's
But
not
I'm
like
assuming
you take turns drawing entire...
No, that would be pretty, yeah.
But yeah, and then as you scroll through the Kickstarter, they have a bunch of different examples of ridiculous gerrymandering that has occurred in real life, and a cool little tutorial of what gerrymandering actually is.
And don't they want to send these to...
They are encourage you to send these to your local senators and representatives.
There is a
and
pledge
governors.
tier where you
There's
can
an entire tier for it.
do that. Yes. For $70, you can send 1 copy. You get 1 copy, and you send 1 to your governor or state legislator for an extra $35.
I just want to see one...
Or for every extra $35,
Yeah.
they'll send another copy.
One senator just gets 40 copies of this
Right.
game.
Well, at least 70 people are doing that, so there will be probably a decent amount of legislators getting copies of this game.
Yeah, they're moving through stretch goals, higher quality wood, fancier paper, wooden custom meeples instead of chipboard markers. Their next stretch goal is at 55,000 velvet bags to hold each party's tokens.
I noticed the most expensive tier is a $3,000 tier, Super Pack, and it sends it to everybody that it can. 9 Supreme Court justices, 32 copies for state governors, 37 copies for the state legislators. That's a lot of
Yes.
a lot of games.
If you want everyone to play a game about gerrymandering and how bullshit it is.
Somebody is back.
One person backed it.
Yeah.
I like that one of their things is our dream. The Supreme Court plays Mapmaker, and it's a picture of the Supreme Court surrounded by a big pile of Mapmaker board games. Yeah,
It's an interesting game.
Yeah.
I want to play it.
I do.
Yeah.
Because I'm curious how good of a
Because
game it
I think
actually is.
because I think it's a great theme.
Absolutely.
So that's gerrymandering. Not a game, the game. Next up on Kickstarters is Escape Plan. Another very well-funded one. $452,000 of its $50,000 goal over just about 4,300 backers, and 2 weeks left to go on this one, which you can pledge for $79, which sounds like an Eagle Griffin's ass price.
An Eagle Griffin's Vital Lacerda game.
Yes, very true.
With art by Ian O'Toole.
Yes.
Indeed.
Like the deluxe of the deluxe.
And it's weird how the box looks like it's going to be roughly that same size, too.
Ah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what's this game about, Adrian?
So
This looks like an interesting game. It's not about an art gallery or Lisboa.
You're not making wine?
Yeah.
it's almost like Vital does a good job of having vastly different themes in all of his games. So this
one's-
one,
but
I mean, I'm pretty sure I could compare winemaking and preventing the world from overheating pretty easily.
God damn it,
CO2.
This one's not a boring theme.
Yeah, I would agree with that, too.
This is an exciting theme.
I like a lot of those other themes.
I'm
You can
really-
like boring things,
Man,
Adrian. It's fine.
I am just so excited about the destruction of Lisboa.
Well, no, the destruction already happened. Now you got to clean it up.
The rebuilding of Lisboa.
You're a janitor.
Man, I am so excited about going to an art gallery
Mm-hmm.
and using...
No. You're not going. You're not getting to experience it. You're just running it.
Jesus, Jeff, have you played any of the... We've reviewed these games.
I've played all of these.
Yeah.
I've
Anyway.
liked one of them.
Anyway, Escape Plan is a game where you are all criminals after the big heist, and you've stashed the money around the city, and then the cops get a tip, and they're now hot on your tail, and you are all trying to escape out of the city while ratting out everyone else, because the winner at the end of this game is whoever gets out of the city with the most money.
Yeah.
With asymmetric goals
Yes.
for each player.
But yeah, so basically, as you play this game, you're all the thieves, and you use cards to help you get further away from the cops, turn the cops onto your opponents, and things like that, and try and get through the city. Meanwhile, cops are doing things like throwing up roadblocks and chasing people down. You do have, as Jeff mentioned, hidden goals that are asymmetric, that help you go about recovering cash, because some of it is like stashed in legitimate businesses and things. But ultimately, the end goal for everyone is the same, and that is to escape with the most money.
Well, goal number 1 is escape, because technically,
If you're the only one who escapes, you win by
yes.
default. Yeah.
Because and realistically, nobody could win, too, because you have to get to that last spot before the end of the day.
Yes.
And if you don't get to escape.
Correct. So, as is the case with pretty much all of these kind of bigger Vital Lacerda games, just a shit ton of components. The game takes up a good amount of space. I remember seeing it at the area. I didn't actually get to play it, but it took up a substantial amount of table space. It's a big game, like pretty much all of his are. And just a ton of stuff, as is the case in these Kickstarters. They have a lot of extra upgraded components and things that are Kickstarter exclusives.
They haven't unlocked the dual layer player boards or the improved insert yet.
Not yet, but those will be really nice.
Yeah, those will hit soon anyway.
In about 700 backers.
Yeah.
I also appreciate that it includes a new Sandra meatball.
Yes, she got tired of working at that fucking car auto.
Car Factory?
Car Factory, that's the word.
What?
So Kanban was one of his games.
Oh,
and there's
okay.
The
Nice
the,
Sandra and Mean Sandra.
the boss. She'd go around and
Gotcha.
fuck up your shit
I
or
have
be like,
not
good job.
played.
I haven't played it
Kanban.
either. But one of the things that I appreciate the most is that I saw that he was using what I feel are the ugly meeples, like the really thin-armed ones, like in Gallerist. And I was like, oh, he's using those again. And then I looked in the stretch goals, and he kept replacing more and more of them. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Yes.
I was going to wonder if they're going to be the weird misshapen meeples of the Gallerist.
I'm curious to see what the one thing that gets printed wrong is going to be in this.
That's really what
I mean, to be fair, this isn't a Splotter game.
No, I didn't say everything. I
mean, even in the other games, like, there's not usually one, like...
The Gallerist, it was all of those fucking had they were not
meeples,
uniformly shaped.
Some of them were not uniform. There were some that were broken.
There was
it
enough...
wasn't like they did all of the meeples the wrong size.
No.
It wasn't like one thing was wrong.
Like a third of them were kind of off.
It wasn't even that many. Jesus
I'm sure
Christ.
we could break them out, and we'll do a census on the Gallerist meeples. See which ones are deformed.
Yeah. And we can just gerrymander it to where we get a majority of districts that have...
They're in the right colors.
Yes.
I look forward to trying this game.
I actually am as well, which is funny because I watched a playthrough of this, this was actually Paul Grogan, his gaming rules. I watched his run through of it. I was like,
yes.
Oh, that actually sounds pretty interesting. Because first thing I heard was, oh, it's a game about you trying to escape the police. Awesome. He's making a co-op game? And then I saw that it wasn't, and I was like, oh, man. But then I actually watched it, and I was like, oh, that actually looks pretty interesting. And then it was funny to see how many people were like, this one seems boring. I want to skip it.
Like, because it's not actually boring?
Well, and that it's less in the complexity than some of his other ones.
Yeah.
It looks fun.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be that every time.
Well, and I'm glad that it's not a worker placement again. That it's a movement puzzle.
I don't need useless looping tracks of Pope stuff. Like, I want to run away from the cops.
That was a cardinal, sir.
Anyway.
What about you, Adrian? Are you interested in this one? Or are you also in that, oh, this seems too light for me?
I'm a little in that. Like, I like VTOL worker placements. I'm a little concerned that this won't be... I really wish I'd gotten to try it at Liaria. Like, that that was one of my goals there, and it's one of the few things that I regret not getting to do. It sounds fun. I think ultimately, I mean, I'm probably going to try and find a way to afford this. It's a terrible time for me to afford a big box VTOL Assault game, but I want it. Like, I just the art alone is like, it's Ian O'Toole art. He's my favorite board game artist.
The art is
beautiful.
Way different from things I've seen him do before.
Yeah,
it's bold. It's colorful.
What? That is like...
Not only is it colorful, but it has more than one color in it.
Yeah.
That was one game. It's not like it's unusual for Ian O'Toole to have.
This is a different kind of style than he normally does.
Yes,
it very much is. And he had mentioned before, like, he's doing a little bit more of this, like, he's working with some of his kids to design games, and so they're much more on the medium side of things. But yeah, I don't know. I am definitely interested. I'm not, like, insta-back like I would if it was one of his heavier worker placements. I think I still will end up with this. The problem is, like, right now, like, this is a week where almost every Kickstarter we did are Kickstarters I want to back. Like, it's been a while since I'm itching real bad to back a Kickstarter right now.
Well, okay, I mean, look at the ones, like, I'm pretty sure you don't have to get the Trogdor, because I'm pretty sure I know at least one other person that's getting it.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Paul gets this.
Then you don't have to get it. But
I want it.
But it won't be on your shelf.
It's going to look so nice.
Next to the other three.
Then get it?
If you want a whole bunch of them, I've been scrolling through here. $365 is the bankroll pledge. It includes the Kickstarter edition of Escape Plan, Gallerist, the brand new Gallerist expansion, Vinos Deluxe, and Lisboa Deluxe, plus all stretch goals. That's actually not a terrible deal for 4 different big box Kickstarter edition VTOL games.
And half of those games I would enjoy.
I didn't know that his wife's name was Sandra.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Also, he likes snowboarding.
Yes, I did know that. It you know, and I've heard enough people like who have gotten a chance to play it that mention that like it's not like it's still medium heavy. It's not heavy.
Yes.
You know, like
it is just lighter than
slight
previous.
step under Gallerist, maybe.
Yeah.
Which Gallerist has previously been considered his lightest.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be great. Honestly.
I mean, I would definitely say it seems like his most accessible one.
Yes. For sure. So
That's it. That's it for Kickstarters.
Indeed it is. Now that we're done with news and Kickstarters, that brings us on to everybody's favorite portion of the show, listener feedback.
Indeed.
Starting with emails.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com. We have a couple of them or more. A few of them. First up on emails is from Matt. Because there's a lot of Matts.
Right.
Potpourri ideas. Hey guys, here's a couple thoughts I wanted to share. Enclosed how I imagine the correct burial of Adrian will be. See attachment. I'm sure we will put this attachment out there so everyone can see. It is, if I can describe to you, someone hitting the corner of racking in a warehouse with a forklift and just literally everything falling over. Oh my God, there is so much falling over. You would be buried under that. That's your burial.
Yeah, apparently, yes.
It's two fucking like giant ass shells falling on
yes.
it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like the one falls to the left, hits the bottom of the one on the right, which then falls back
Yeah.
to the
top.
right.
I can imagine your head sticking out after that first one. You're like, oh God, that was, oh no.
It's still coming.
I want to say there may have been too much stuff on those shelves.
I mean, yeah, like I don't think there was too much stuff, but like
That was easy. That was
oh
too
my
easy.
God, that was too. We hit things much harder than that at the brewery,
We do.
but they're not
usually,
as tall.
No, they're usually steel
They're sturdier.
things that have been there for a while.
Yeah. They shouldn't use what I'm assuming is just wooden dowels to hold everything up.
Indeed. We don't use wooden dowels.
Yeah.
Second, what would you guys prefer to be buried in? A keg. B, cremated and put into bottle. C, cremated and put into can. Oh, yeah.
I feel like I don't know what that's in.
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
But that's what it says. D, chopped up and put in a case. I assume this is beer related.
Cremated and put into a bottle?
Yeah, that's mine. B.
Yeah.
You know what? No.
I'm going to say D.
Put into a case?
Because I'll be dead. I won't care.
Yeah.
So do whatever.
You're just going for
yeah.
going for gruesome.
Sure, why not?
I'd be buried in a keg, and then we'd serve it at my funeral, and everyone would drink me.
I've heard people do stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah.
He continues. You haven't excluded murder
From your show.
from your show. You have the bloody minute. Unfortunately, Jeff doesn't murder much with his team rolling like shit in most cases. This is correct.
Yeah.
I still did retire by far number one casualty, which I doubt anyone will touch for quite some time.
Right.
4. Let's remake Jurassic Park, but with emus. That's more scary than a damn lizard, especially if it's set in Denver in winter. See second attachment. To be fair,
It's an ostrich.
It's an ostrich photoshopped to be skiing, not an emu.
It's a
Great
GIF Photoshop.
It is.
It's a GIF of it doing it, right?
Yes. Love you guys later. The artist formerly known as Matt. Too many Matts in here. So yes, you are now the artist formerly known as Matt. Self-proclaimed. Come up with your own graphic symbol. We'll just use that from now on.
Draw an emu.
Yes. Some sort of asterisk-esque emu.
Yes.
This next email comes from Nick, titled Well Played. This is one of our many couple South Dakota listeners.
That is many for South Dakota.
Yeah. Hey, Derek, how is Vermilion? If you are ever up in the big city cough, they put big city in the quotes. It's the coughs are supposed to be in quotes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should play games when you are not doctoring. Jonathan, I am grateful to have a fellow scientist who can relate to spending copious amounts of time pipetting 96 wells again and again and again. I was going to type and again 96 times to give the MHG guys an idea of what it's like, but I decided that would be excessive. Go brains!
Brains are pretty cool.
Yes, I like brains.
It's Megan's most exciting thing working in the new neuro lab is when she sees really weird brain shit.
I have no doubt.
Yeah.
Touche, Zach and Jeff. Perhaps you are right. Perhaps I should take my friend's subtle hints about food chain and realize my poor taste. Or perhaps my friends could go buy, learn, and teach their own games. Hashtag Team Adrian.
Dude, if I had a captive audience for board games, it would be Food Chain all the fucking time.
They would all die off.
Unfortunately, there's too many gamers in Denver, and everybody just be like, nah, fuck you, Adrian.
Yeah, I have other people.
Yeah.
Just move to, I don't know, Alaska.
Or South Dakota.
South
Dakota. Yeah, it's like Alaska, but with more brain things. I would be upset and hurt to hearing you repeatedly and unjustly insult and harass my current hometown of Sioux Falls, but then I would be a liar. Your analysis was spot on. I'm sure our analysis was...
It's a bullshit nothing town.
Bullshit nothing town. Yes. Actually relevant statement. Through weird circumstances, I found myself in a position to try Vinos with some heavier gamers, and let me just say, I effing love it.
Vinos is so fucking
You
good.
can say fucking. We say fuck. If I had the money, I would have immediately bought it on Amazon. Vinos has sold me on VTOL games after one plays.
With a Z, too.
With a Z. Looking forward to trying Lisboa with this new group. Luckily, they all like the color blue.
I mean, I hope so.
I love the color blue.
I really like blue, too, but it's just too
much,
much, man.
It's a lot of blue.
Yeah.
Keep up the most work. Fun fact, I am the Pez guy on Twitter. I have a Pez collection of about 500 unique dispensers. You can decide if that's fun or not. Cheers, Nick Pez.
So is that fun?
I think that's fun.
I think that's fun.
That's a lot of Pez.
That's interesting. I don't know, because interesting can
It's
be
a fun
both good
fact.
or bad. It's an interesting
fun fact.
It's certainly interesting.
Yeah, I would say.
I would call it a fun fact.
Fun fact, I own 500 different Pez dispensers.
Yeah.
As a sentence?
Maybe not what you want to put on a dating profile.
No, but he's...
I mean, unless you have a picture of all of them and you were just looking pissed while you're right behind you.
Want to come see all my Pez dispensers? This next one comes from Wes, titled Cathargo. It begins, Jeff is right. Adrian is wrong.
It's a great email, Wes. Good job.
Thank you, Wes. No, he continues. I kicked ass with 50-some points in the one game I played of this. It wasn't me beating him by 2 points. It was at least a 10-point margin. I remember because I had...
I'm going to have to find the score sheets.
I remember because I had miscounted my points by 10 and still won before I realized the error and revised the score up. And it was my first game after you guys already played several times and already figured out all of the rules you were doing wrong. That's the reason I'm lukewarm on it, honestly. I didn't find anything interesting in it that couldn't be found in the first few turns. I was able to spot a strategy and optimize it with no experience with the game. I do like that it was short and simple for an action economy game, but I don't think short and simple is a niche that action economy games needed to fill.
Now that is a true statement.
Yes. I don't know. It was an okay game. I'd play it again probably, but wasn't super impressed. I just couldn't sit by and let Adrian besmirch my good name. He continues, and that's been emails at milehighgameguys.com.
Which is
actually true.
Yeah.
And that's it for emails. Emails at milehighgameguys.com if you would like to send us an email.
Indeed.
About stuff or games we've talked about, like Wes did.
Surprisingly, no new comments
from Paulo's Corner.
Over on YouTube. However, we did get 2 comments that showed up this week from our Star Wars Imperial Assault episode, and they showed up over on the Punchboard Media website, punchboardmedia.com. These are the first comments we've ever received over there.
I'm glad to see that people are using it.
I didn't even know these existed until Eric, who kind of runs that website, emailed me and was like, hey, I got a notification there were comments on some of your episodes.
Clearly.
Like, oh, okay.
Clearly,
Cool.
Punchboard Media, #1 popular.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So this is from Pazzi, and this is all in relation to our Star Wars Imperial Assault review that we did several weeks back.
Yeah.
First up, he says, the Rancor comes in the Jabba's Realm box. Otherwise, the figures would survive much better during shipping. I didn't have any issues myself, but the hero sheets are dented by the Rancor. Jabba is just a figure expansion. And as far as I know, Vader and Luke have always shipped with the core box. If you consistently need to pay extra that come in the box, you're being scammed and need to change where you buy your games. Winky face.
So he was basically saying that the Rancor comes with the box.
Thank you, Jeff.
Correct.
My ears have stopped bleeding now.
Yes.
The
Jabba
Rancor comes
was
in the Jabba box.
an additional purchase.
Mhm.
You don't
Yes.
actually get Jabba. Ant had purchased that.
It's a figure expansion.
yes. I know Vader comes in the core box.
And Luke.
I don't
he
think I've
thinks
ever
comes
played
with-
with Luke in any
I've never seen
scenario,
Luke,
so
yeah.
I
And I
assume
don't
he
remember.
I assume he does. We've
If I
just never
thought ahead, I'd have pulled out my core box and seen what came with it. But whatever. He follows us up with
Is this the second comment? Or
second
okay.
comment, also from Posse, and it says, there are some misunderstood bits of the rules, so when you play, review the rules. Everyone will make mistakes in their first campaign. The first one is a learning campaign. I'll have to note the biggest, though. The heroes always know their lose condition, including round limits, from the mission briefing. And the majority of the times, they know their win condition, or at least how to progress the mission to get to know your win condition, i.e. you read both the flavor text and the rules block for each event when it happens, including mission briefing.
That might just be an ant thing then.
This is
I
definitely
think that's definitely an ant thing.
this is definitely an Ant thing trying to make it more
RPG-ish.
yeah, and kind of throwing out some of the
Which I think leads
mechanic.
to frustration sometimes when, like, Paul is like, I have no fucking clue what the end game, like, I don't know how long what we're trying to do.
and since we can't look at it, we don't know if he's telling us the full or just sort of
partial or anything like that.
trying to keep it
So,
fun.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't disagree with anything you have said there, Posse.
Yes, but he might be misunderstanding what we were trying to say with what models come with or without
Yes, potentially.
the base sets.
I don't remember what all we said in that
Yeah.
episode that was like a month ago.
Yeah, but like basically there's a big box, then there's a small box, and then there's a bunch of waves of miniatures to replace little discs instead of like you buy the Boba Fett expansion and it doesn't come with fucking Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Spend $16. You can get your ass some Boba Fett.
We did also, in addition to Punchboard Media, we had some feedback from the Carthago review up on our BGG guild.
Yes, we did.
Zach, you got those pulled up and ready?
I do. First one is from the artist formerly known as Matt.
Indeed.
Oh yeah, the sequel to Stratego. Love this game. And he looks around the room nervously, as I may have been outed for having no idea what it really is. Unsurprising, because when we told some people that we were reviewing this, they were like, "What game? I don't know what that game is."
I mean, we talked about that in our initial
Yeah,
thoughts.
exactly.
It was like, everybody was like, what?
Yep. Yeah. Jeff and I didn't know about the game until you were like, "Here is a review game of this."
Indeed.
So we feel you. Next up is from Mike. Based on your review, what do you do to try and make sure you play a game correctly? Do you pull out the rule book during the game? Do you tend to
Yes.
read the?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do that.
I was going to wait till the end, but yes.
Do you tend to read the rule book after your first playthrough?
All ish.
Only if we're like, this feels off for whatever reason. That's usually my approach. I try to have the game down before I teach, and then I read through the rule books after we play and send an email with everything we did wrong so my friends can mock me.
We should do that. Well, you
Yeah.
know, we do it via text
Yes, we do
in
it.
the Slack
Yeah.
channel.
There
It's really where we do it.
Yeah, and there are several times we'll play a game and then like the next day in text, guys, we were playing wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just sort of
So, yeah, we
how
di-
our
we-
board game group has always worked. Like, or board games in general, you don't really get everything
Yeah.
right.
In my
Most of the
experience,
time?
I've almost never gotten everything. And-
Unless
and-
it's a simple game.
Yeah.
yeah, or a game that whoever's teaching you has just played it so many times
Yes.
that they have actually went through this process. But I mean, that's part of why we try to play games like 3 or 4 times, is so we can work through
Mhm.
some of the rules mistakes.
We got to get at least that one correct playthrough.
One full correct playthrough.
Yeah, because we don't really always watch a lot of rules videos or anything
I
like that.
never watch rule. I hate watching.
We almost
rules
always
videos.
learn straight out of the rule book.
Yeah, if I'm learning a game, it's because I sat down and read the rule book and maybe played like a 1 or 2 player game with just myself. Like I sat and played both parts, and yeah.
I'll watch rule playthroughs.
Yes, I know you do.
Yeah, especially if it's one that none of us have played before. So even if someone's teaching me the game, I'll do it just so I know the context of which they're telling me about.
Super complicated games, I like to recommend people look at at least a quick overview video, just so they have some context for the teach. But I still like to actually teach. Plus, people are terrible about watching videos consistently. Like, oh,
That's
guys,
true.
we're going to be playing an 18xx. Everybody watch a rules video. And you get there, it's like, I watched like 10 minutes of one. That's good enough, right? No, it's not. Fuck off.
All right.
Anyway, next comment.
Next comment is unfortunately from Mark. I just don't even want to read this one.
You got to do it, Zach. Say it.
Say
the words.
The words have to come out of your mouth.
Oh, and I'm going to keep this. I'm going to move this into a separate file and keep it.
Okay.
So
all right.
say it.
Soundboard.
Ugh. Mark says, Adrian, you are 100% correct during the big
Folderol?
folderol. Is that actually a word?
I am not familiar with folderol.
The big folderol at the end of the review. I'd love to play any trick-taking game against Jeff and or Zach. If this minimal level of card counting / tracking is too hard for them to handle.
So real quick, I'm not laughing about that. It's a real word. Folderol, trivial or nonsensical fuss.
Yes, correct. 100% correct.
Yeah.
It's not that the level of card counting is too hard.
Yeah.
I don't think the effort in that mechanic that you have to do is not worth it.
Well, that's what it's a trivial level of card counting. Like, it's the bare minimum of the definition of card counting in that game.
But I don't think that this kind of game needs that as a mechanic.
It doesn't need it, but it has it.
Then that's a game I don't want to play.
And card counting isn't a mechanic. It's just a way you play certain types of games that involve cards.
This will come up
again. If you're
again.
not card counting and trick taking, you're not trick taking well.
Well, I don't want to play trick taking the action management game.
And yeah, I would agree. It wasn't that it was too hard. It just was. It never made enough of a difference for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. You guys were consistently in that review like, yeah, it's so punishing. Like, you do this thing and you have no idea if you're going to win.
That will come up
or...
on the next point.
Yes.
As Zach continues.
Jeff, I know you always side with Zach, which he doesn't. Just almost always.
Well, finish the sentence because it's true.
When it comes to being a dick to Adrian. That is true. My bad. That is true.
Correct.
But I was shocked to hear you side with him while he was whining about a game being too hard. You're usually the host whose opinions I can rely on the most, since we have almost identical likes and dislikes.
Well, it's nice to hear from someone that identifies with my weird gaming habits.
Yes.
Right.
But I wouldn't say that this game is too hard. It's not a difficult game.
No.
It's just punishing for the mechanics that are in the game. Adrian and I were talking about at work today about this comment, and I kind of thinned it down to, I think that there's too much chance in a major component of this, a major mechanic of this game, even if it is just simple card counting. But unless you have those two upgrades and a ship, you can't guarantee that you're not going to lose, because you can still get that 6, even if there's just one of those cards left in there. There's still a chance, and I think having chance in that deck is not a great mechanic.
Well, my counter for that was like that. I don't think that one particular area is integral to winning or losing the game. Like, you can lose a ship battle or two and still win that game.
Correct, but I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if you try and do that and lose, it's too punishing.
See, and I think that it's an appropriate, like, the amount of investment for the chance, as long as you get your chance to about 50%, if you go in there right away with one strength.
A coin flip for 1/15 of an action in this game for possibly getting nothing is too punishing for how few turns are in the game.
Well, that's why you do your actions appropriately, to where you're getting to do both of the harbor actions when you resolve that.
Chance in this game does not belong, and I don't like this game because that mechanic has any element of chance in it.
I can't think of a way to take chance out of it.
Then it's
not a game he wants to play.
Then it's not a game I want to play.
And that's fair.
Yeah.
I just as an aside, I love the fact that you and I were arguing against the chance, and it felt like he was arguing for the chance in the review.
I know. Because Adrian's usually hard. Like,
also the fact that
it is an appropriate.
I feel like this is the kind of luck that you hate too, because it's output. It's output.
I do hate that it's output, but it's also super mitigatable. You can know what you're like. I'm a big fan of knowing the odds going in. It's why I'm okay with playing craps. Craps is output randomness, but I know the odds.
But these are just, it's not, I don't think it's ever, Flood Bowls tell me anything, you're going to get that bad chance and it can totally screw you over.
Okay.
Compared to people that happen to get that right side of the coin.
Right.
Anyway, continues.
All right. I believe it says, cheers, Mark. I believe that's what it says.
No, it does not. There's another line in there.
Zach, you poor thing. I hope you got a cold compress and went down to lie for a while after that mean old game made your brain overheat so badly.
I also like how you butchered the middle of that sentence, too.
Yeah, well, it doesn't deserve my full attention. No.
I think I've made my argument.
My favorite thing about this comment is that this is an excellent example of, like, as much as we shit talk and be mean to each other, all of a sudden when a listener's mean to us, Zach's like,
fuck this guy.
I do believe that wraps up all of the listener feedback for this episode, however.
Indeed.
So, thanks everybody who submitted comments and got a hold of us. If any of the rest of you want to get a hold of us, you can always do so by sending us an email.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
You can also always jump over to our Board Game Geek Guild number 2731, where you can create threads, leave comments, things like that. You can find all three of us over on Twitter. I tweet under @MHGameGuys.
I am Zach_MHGG.
And I'm Jeff_MHGG.
We have Facebook and Instagram /Mile High Game Guys. And you can also find us over there with a bunch of other awesome content creators on punchboardmedia.com. So, go check us out in all of those multitude of places. Additionally, if you want to support the show, a very easy way to do that is to give us ratings and things like that on YouTube, iTunes,
our number one portal, places. YouTube.
All of that greatly benefits the show and helps people see us.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be super generous and support us financially, you can go over to patreon.com/milehighgameguys. Much like our most recent patron, who I'm going to let Jeff handle this one.
Like he always does.
As is tradition, we have a new $1 patron from Kenny. Kenny is a friend of mine that I haven't seen in a while, that I ran into Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I went out for a beer, and then a bunch of my my old Chicago friends showed up that I haven't seen in forever, and he was having a party with a bunch of other friends, and then we hung out, and I was talking about, like, I started a podcast and stuff like that, and he was like, do you have Patreon? And then he gave us $1. I didn't tell him. I just let him continue. He doesn't know. I'm sure he'll listen to this. Hopefully he'll listen to this. He gave us $1 off of never hearing the show before.
Yeah.
But Kenny, we make fun of people that give us $1 because you've just given us 0.13 cents per episode of content.
Something ridiculous.
You are a cheap piece of shit.
You've given us $0.125 for an episode.
He just doesn't know how much we are the most podcast.
Right.
But he still sucks.
Uh-huh.
He's a musician. I could probably make fun of him being a musician in some fashion, but I haven't heard him play in a billion years.
And isn't that enough? Just call.
Yeah, that's yep.
He's a musician.
I'm surprised you have $1 to give us, sir.
Yeah. Don't you? Yeah. That's just a fancy word for unemployed, right?
Yeah. How many?
That was a bad time to take a drink of beer.
How many quarters did you get in your hat on a corner to be able to give us a Patreon $1?
Oh, these are so much more vicious when you know the person.
Oh, yeah.
I know him. He's a nice man that gave us $1.
Well, thank you, Kenny, for giving us $1 sight unseen.
Yes.
So
now he knows.
Now he knows.
So, yeah.
Well, not only do we rip into you, but also anytime we also list all the patrons, we also rip into you again.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we don't do that often.
Yes.
Just every episode, we're going to relist all the patrons and just rip all the $1.
At least once a year.
Yes.
We won't let you forget what a piece of shit you are.
Yeah.
But no, we super appreciate all of the support and everybody over on Patreon who gives us money to buy fancy new microphones and things.
Yes.
And pays for Zach's ticket to Gen Con so he can go and talk about games and things. So,
which we'll be doing next week.
Indeed. But yeah, that pretty much wraps everything up here on our end. Be sure to go over and check out our sponsor, Grey Fox Games, on their website, greyfoxgames.com. Their latest game, Pocket Mars, will be releasing at Gen Con here coming up. I'm sure that Zach and Jeff will be over at their booth checking it out, playing it, letting us know how good a light, pocket-sized game of Terraforming Mars is. That's not Terraforming Mars.
No.
But we're thoroughly Mars obsessed on this show, so Pocket Mars.
Mars
Right there.
colonization-y.
Yes.
So go
And
check that out. Anyway, Jeff, do you have the prepared statement?
I do.
Prepared.
Grey Fox Games, quality games cleverly crafted. Also, without free will, there's no difference between submission and rebellion.
Seems apt, yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, thanks everybody for listening. This is the end of the show. And as always, I have been your host, Adrian.
I am a whiny bitch, I guess. And I'm Zach.
And I'm buying the Gloomhaven Mats, Jeff.
Oh, no, Jeff! Bye.
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 What?
Sorry, I'm just downloading something.
Wow.
I just noticed on there it said a draft rulebook.
It has a draft of the new rulebook.
Oh. I thought it was like a rulebook where they introduced drafting into the game. And I was like, they introduced drafting? What the fuck? How would that work in this game?
You already draft.
I know, but like regular drafting.
Yes. Correct.
Your laughter is why I was very confused, Adrian. I was like, this does not make sense at all.
Correct. That's why they didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Punchboard Media, where we all
Bring something
to the table.
pull up a chair
At punchboardmedia.com.